Hi, welcome to another weekly reading vlog. So it is currently Monday the 10th, I believe, and I've been reading a couple things. Last week I told you I had gotten, 200, 350 pages into Oathbringer. Now I am at 486 as of, the evening on Monday. I've been reading a lot of this over the past weekend. I wasn't feeling great, so I didn't vlog anything, but I am starting the weekly reading vlog now, and this is what I've mostly been working on. I love it. I'm still loving it. I'm loving part 2 even more than part 1. I think this is a great book. I'm just so excited to see where it goes. My goal is to finish this like next week maybe, and so I think that'll be pretty easy for me to do. So I don't think I need to be setting like page goals or anything, because when I get to it, I'll get to it, and I'm loving reading this, so And then because I'm me, I also picked up a couple of other things. The first thing I picked up is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I wasn't going to read this yet because I wanted to wait and see if like my classes needed me to read this book, but you know what, we're just reading it now. We'll get our work done early if I'm going to be reading it. I'm only one chapter in, so 27 pages in, and I really liked the first chapter. The first chapter was really nonsensical and fun. It reminded me of like children's classics, and so I love children's classics, so I'm loving this. I've heard that the book becomes pretty episodic from here though, so I'm, wary, but hopefully I will still really enjoy this book. And then I also started my reread of The Last Olympian, and I am 181 pages into this book. I'm going to finish it today because I'm going to be starting another book tomorrow. We're buddy reading it with Udi. So this is really my priority for the day. Finish this, get a little bit farther in The Hobbit, and then read some Oathbringer tonight if I have time. But mostly this is the priority. I'm loving this as well. I'm liking it better than The Battle of the Labyrinth so far, at least. But The Last Olympian's just such a good book. That's what I've been reading, but before I go, I want to talk about a book that I got in the mail recently because I haven't bought books for months, or a month and a half or something, I don't know. I caved and did buy one because Udi and I want to buddy read this one, and it is Crier's War by Nina Varela. I am really excited about this book. I know it is a sapphic fantasy novel. Book Twitter raves about it. Book Twitter loves it. I'm really excited to read it. I'm actually super excited. And so we decided to start it on Tuesday. And so the next time I update, I will hopefully have been reading this for a little bit. But yes, I need to finish The Last Olympian so I can be ready to start this tomorrow. Also, I realize I've literally not been giving synopses at all, but they're really all pretty popular books. Oathbringer is the 3rd book in the Stormlight Archive. The Last Olympian is the 5th book in the Percy Jackson the Olympian series. And then The Hobbit is The Hobbit. You know about it. So that is what I'm reading and what I want to be reading, and I will check in with you in the middle of the week. Hi, it is currently Wednesday, August 12th, and let's talk about what I'm reading. So I am 587 pages into Oathbringer. I am nearing the halfway point. I am loving this book so much. I might be enjoying it more than Words of Radiance at this point. I don't know, I'd have to finish the book, but I do think that this book has gripped me more than Words of Radiance. I think it's just because Words of Radiance has a really explosive second half, but the first half is a lot of traveling to get where we're going, whereas Oathbringer it just has so many interesting things happening right away, to me at least. And so I really like this. I think it's super readable, super fast-paced for as fast-paced as a character-driven 1,000-page book can get. I also am loving it because I think that this is the first time we really see the plot really sort of take off and explode a little bit. Words of Radiance, we got the plot to start, but Oathbringer is actually giving us some answers and more questions, and I love it. I have also made progress on The Hobbit since we last talked. I am currently 103 pages into The Hobbit, so I have this much more to go. That is just over 160 pages. I'm really loving this a lot more than I thought I would. I expected to not really like this book because the first time I read it when I was 14 and didn't read classics, didn't read high fantasy, was still reading middle grade, it was too much for me. I did not like this book at all. But this time I'm loving Tolkien's writing style. I'm loving Tolkien's story he's telling and how charming and fun it is. I don't even really mind that it's a little bit episodic, but I really am loving this. I don't know, I just love this world and the plot so far. I don't know, The Hobbit is just a sweet, fun story so far, and I can't wait to keep reading. I'm probably going to finish it in the next couple of days because I'm loving it. I don't know. I didn't expect this, but I do. And then because that wasn't enough fantasy, I also started a third fantasy book. I'm buddy reading this one with my friend Udi, Crier's War by Nina Varela. This is a YA high sapphic fantasy about a world where there are humans and there are made people, so automata, I think, automa, whatever. They exist. They're like humanoid people, but they are created and not born. They're given certain virtues. I don't really know how it works. I'm only 50 pages into Crier's War because this book is hard to read, and I will tell you why. The first 50 pages is literally nothing but info dump. There's a semblance of a plot, and then at the end of the 50 pages, finally, after 3 chapters of nothing but like setup and info dump, we have the semblance of a plot that could be starting, and a bit more, I'm seeing a little bit more of Crier, in particular, Crier's character forming. This is a dual perspective. We're following 2 different girls, and this is also going to be a sapphic romance, so that's the main reason why I'm reading it. I need to read more sapphic books in general, but also fantasy sapphics, where it's not a big deal. That's what I need. But I'm just not liking how this author is taking their time to really just tell you everything about the world. It's not even really taking their time. It's more like, let me just info dump everything all at once, and it's really hard to get through, especially because this world has never really like intrigued me. That's just a personal thing. It's not that like Automa are like bad or anything. It's just that I was never quite intrigued by this premise, but it gets such good reviews. So I'm hoping that, the first pages are not indicative of the whole book, and also that the world gets cooler, or just that the story is really good. And so I was never expecting to like love this world. And if I did love the world, then it's possible that the exposition wouldn't have bothered me so much, but the history and world building dumps did bother me because I don't care that much about the world. I was hoping this would be a book where I could just really latch onto the characters and follow them, even if I didn't love the plot or love the world. And I'm hoping that that can still be the case, because Crier already, I'm pretty invested in Crier. I barely know the other girl, Ayla. All I know at this point is that the humans are oppressed by the maid. It used to be the other way around, but the maid overthrew the humans and now oppressed them like they were once oppressed. And we follow Ayla, who is a human and who wants to get revenge on the head maid of their area, I guess. I don't know, because he killed her whole family, and so she wants to kill the closest thing he has to family, who happens to be Lady Crier, who is his heir, his daughter, his maid daughter, and we follow her perspective as she's learning some different things about herself, I guess, that makes her sort of dangerous. And so I'm really invested in Crier already. I really don't know Ayla very well because I've only seen Ayla in 1 chapter, but I'm hoping that I will get to see Ayla's character a little bit more. I'm not writing this book off completely because I have a feeling that this book was just info dumping and giving a lot of exposition just to get it all out of the way and then go on to other stuff later. I'm hoping that's the case. I will be continuing with this book. All right. So these are the books I'm reading right now, and I will update you in a few days. The lighting is terrible, but this is what we're working with. So, I really haven't been reading very much because I've been working on YouTube and just, I don't really know, but just other stuff. So I haven't really read much since I last updated you, but we do have some developments, so I guess I'll talk about them. I don't remember where I was in The Hobbit the last time I mentioned I was reading this book, but now I'm on page 170. It's still really good. I'm still really enjoying it. It's fun. It's easy. I'm a lot more invested than I thought it would be. It'll probably take me like, I could probably finish this in a day. It just is like, what day am I going to read it? That is the question. And then Oathbringer, I have not made any progress in Oathbringer. Fun fact about me. So I don't even know what goals I set in the beginning of this week for Oathbringer, or if I set any. This is kind of a mess. It's okay. This is just a messy reading vlog, and those happen sometimes, right? Right. I'm 587 pages in. It is really good so far. I'm probably going to read more of this tonight, and I will update you more on it next week. I don't know when I'm going to finish this. It has taken me quite the long time, but I'm very excited. It's not that I haven't wanted to read this. I think I just haven't been in a reading mood. So, we'll see. And then the final update I have for you, Crier's War. I DNF'd it. Oops. Okay, so let me talk about real quick why I DNF'd this book. So I got about 84 pages into it, and I was so excited for this book. Here's the thing. The synopsis for this book never really intrigued me. I was just sort of like, okay, Automa, like a conflict between humans who are oppressed and made people who are Automa and are not, like, they're not flesh and blood, like, but they rule the roost now, and the humans are oppressed. Like, I was like, okay. Then one of our perspective is the maid, Lady Crier, and then we have this human girl who wants to kill her in revenge for her family being murdered by Crier's father, which is a pretty typical YA fantasy trope. There's a lot of like assassination attempts that turn to romances in YA, and that I'm pretty sure is what this was going to be. This is a sapphic romance, and for that reason alone, basically, I was willing to give it a try because sapphic romances in fantasy are not really something that is super common, or at least not as common as straight romances. And so I was like, you know, I would love to see some sapphic representation. I'm really interested in that, even though I wasn't really interested in the world of this book or the premise of it. But I also saw that people were giving it really good reviews. People love this book, and I'm sure because this plot is quite a popular plot line, I'm sure that it's, you know, great for them. I don't know that this is the book for me, and so I've DNF'd it. It's just really long for a book that I'm not really enjoying very much. The first 50 pages was a lot of exposition dumping, and I was hoping it would get better as we got into the story, but there wasn't even like a scene or any like intrigue with character work that made me want to read this book. We got like exposition of the world and exposition about their lives and the personalities, all from the narrative. And it was really telling, not showing in a lot of ways to me. And so it was hard to get through, especially with the world info in the beginning. The beginning of this book has epigraphs, it has history lessons, just a rundown of like, it had like a timeline. It was just like a rundown of like the history of this world and the conflict between the maid and the humans. And I'm sure this information is important. It's so much, like all at once, when I have no idea about the characters, no idea about the plot, no idea about anything, that it wasn't going to be helpful for me when this information is going to come back and be relevant. So I wasn't going to remember any of it. And so the exposition was pointless to me. And then every time we are in a scene with the characters, the scene is like they're doing nothing pretty much until chapter 5. Something pretty big happens. They're doing nothing. And so it's like if this were more organically woven into the story, I could see how this character work and this execution would have been really interesting. But to me, it was just like, it was like a lot of nothing happening plot-wise, and in exchange for a lot of like character backstory that we didn't need at the moment, or exposition of the history of the world that we didn't really need at the moment. It was just, or even exposition about the characters, the traits that they have that we didn't need at the moment, or we could have gotten some other way. And so that really frustrated me. This is also quite a lyrical writing style, which I kind of knew going into this book, and I've always been nervous about that, because sometimes I can do like beautiful writing, but I can't do like pretty writing that says nothing. And that might sound mean. I'm not trying to be mean. I don't want to be mean to this book. I don't want to trash it. I am totally on board with people promoting this book and liking this book and loving this book and having this book mean so much to them. Like, I want that for you. I wish that was the case for me. It's not. The writing style just really irks me, because there would be descriptions that would be very beautiful and lyrical, and I'd be like, what does that mean, you know? Here's an example. Page 68. She had never really seen a pair of eyes like this. It was standing in the doorway to a dark room, like balancing on the threshold, holding a lantern up and watching how it kissed some things gold and left other things in shadow. It was the kind of dark that hid and held a lot of things. A hot, fluid dark, a summer tide pool dark, a wild, breathless dark. And all that language is really beautiful, right? And I really actually like the shadow metaphor thing. Like, that could have been a great metaphor to use, maybe not for eyes, but as all of that was description for the way that these eyes made Crier feel, I can get a little bit from it, but I don't know what the eyes look like. I'm not feeling the metaphors. Like, they're not working for me. And there's a lot of that in this book. And that was just the most like egregious example for me, but there's just a lot of that. And so if you liked that piece of writing, then maybe pick this book up, because you might love this writing. It's just not the writing that I tend to enjoy. It's not the writing for me. I know I read that passage to my boyfriend and he thought it sounded great and he liked it. And so I'm going to pass this along to him and hopefully he will get more out of it than I did and he will really like it, hopefully. Maybe this book gets better after 84 pages, after more than 5 chapters, but it's hard for me to commit to reading this long of a book when there's so many other things on my August TBR that I'm much more interested in. And so I'm gonna put this one down and I'm gonna pass it along to someone who will hopefully really love this. And yeah, that is all. That is the weekly vlog. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this and that you're enjoying what you're reading. Let me know what your favorite thing you read this week was or started reading this week. And I will see you next time. Bye.